Hello everyone. I guess 10 minutes enough. Uh, Also, for the audience, which is 5 people, I'm gonna talk about 3 main topics on this DAO call. Rest of the DAO members can then watch the recording of the DAO call today or tomorrow, depending on my upload speed. Anyway, so the main 3 topics I want to talk about first will be the Billy's proposal on rewarding Baba. It's finishing on 3 hours and it's not still didn't reach quorum. Uh, I'm using Grape part also to see which people are voting, which people are not. We quite have a lot of missing people to vote on this, which is quite worrisome. I'm not sure if it's lack of awareness of people just abstaining it. Uh, we skipped this topic last Sunday because when we wanted Billy to give some input on this. I know Billy's here today. I don't know if you want to talk about the proposal or not. I was just giving a quick update on it. Hello, Billy.
Hi, Legend. How are you?
Yeah, so far so good.
Great. Yeah, so Baba Alex never asked for any reward. He has been continuing to support Grape Access, 100% on his own. Um, the moderators as well, they were not uh, compensated based on what they had requested. And in the previous proposal that they wanted to pass, I requested that Baba is also added for reward. So it wouldn't end up being a proposal that he's awarded on his own. But since that never happened, I thought we should at least try to make a proposal to reward Baba, who has been supporting Grape Axis 100% on his own. And he's continuing to do that regardless of rewards. Now, if the DAO believes that this reward is not justified. I think we could see from uh, the people that are choosing to abstain that they believe that we shouldn't reward people for contributing to Grape.
Yeah, it's a shame because the proposal it's ending in 3 hours and we still didn't achieve like quorum. I mean, not even no votes. Like there's still a lot of people voting because I will not mind like seeing no votes or yes votes, like explaining on the realms why yes, why no. But let's see how it finishes.
Yeah,
And
I'm also curious to see if this proposal is going to pass or not. But on this proposal, if there's any questions or something I would like to clarify, I'm free to answer the questions.
yeah, I have one question. It's not regarding Baba's reward. It's regarding the how do I say it? Is Baba hosting the bot himself or just like
No,
in a different VPS or?
no, no, no. Currently, I'm still handling that, and along with the domains, which, from my understanding, that's under Dean's control. All these things need to gradually all be passed over to members of the DAO, so it's not the same people who have access to the servers, the domains, the DNS, the emails. All these things. We need to start the discussion of who qualifies to maintain administration privileges and ownership on behalf of the DAO. So,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
if
It's a big responsibility as
people
well.
need to also be rewarded for this task. Um, I will continue doing this for as long as the DAO needs to decide how to transition ownership. But it's not the we're not in a good place if we're still controlling everything. That's the one issue is about the servers that you just brought up. We also have the Grape tokens. They're still sitting in a hot wallet. There's not, I think, the full minted supply.
Yeah,
It hasn't been transferred.
that's another topic I was going to
It
bring
hasn't
up.
been. It hasn't been transferred to the DAO. Uh, I don't know how we should proceed about that, but I'm 100% for figuring out a solution that the DAO supports. And the proposal that passed that instructs the council to transfer USDC
Hmm.
was looking at the treasuries, and we have a treasury which has 30,000 USDC, and we now have another treasury which has 5,000 USDC. So the proposal was to add another 50,000 USDC, which means a total of 85,000 USDC. I don't know if this is a mistake or do we really need $85,000 to be transferred? And since we're going to do this, why don't we just make all the USDC available to the DAO at the same time? Because doing these transfers from one account to the other and having to do all these proposals all the time, it's going to be very bureaucratic and slow.
Yeah, I was about like I see the on Realms Grape has a lot of wallets, a lot of treasury for like some are small amounts, some are big. Like, do we need all these treasuries? Like,
We don't, but we could structure the DAO treasuries in such a way that long-term assets could take a longer time to be passed to like short-term, day-to-day activities. So even if somebody was to perform an attack on, say, a big amount of the treasury, it would take a long time for the proposal to execute. And the DAO and the council would have a lot of time to mitigate that kind of attack. Now that there's a veto power for the council, um, there's no threat. There's no threat. I mean, of somebody trying to attack, let's say, the treasury. So there's no reason why the full treasury shouldn't be accessible by the DAO at all times. That's my opinion. I mean, if there's a reason why it shouldn't be accessible, I'm open to hear those reasons.
I mean, I agree with this because it's pointless making every time a new proposal to move X amount of SDC to this address. So why not move everything at once and then decide later what to use it for?
Yep.
Okay, and there's like some
What other
treasures.
topics do
Uh,
we have for today?
So yeah, I was gonna mention three of them. One of being yours. The next will be the Saga Phone's criteria. Today I'm gonna put a poll, so DAO members can choose which criteria to choose from the discourse post, and from then we move to one criteria from someone idea, and with that idea we just like try to p- um,
Is there a new
perfect it.
proposal or is there a new proposal or are we just trying to figure out the distribution?
Distribution will be because some weeks passed and nobody figured out. distribution, and before distribution, it's a criteria to get distributed. That was my point of view at this topic. So yeah, my idea was to create a normal poll on Discord to choose someone's criteria, and from that we just move on to on the topic. So that way we just move faster, I guess. We don't take as long as is we are taking now. And the last topic will be the topic I just wrote today on the discourse, which will be about the grape emissions, which you also mentioned the rest of the minted supply from grape. And you know, DAO members were saying like we should distribute to the Grape community first, and then the Solana ecosystem second. And I wrote on Discourse a quick idea on how we should approach the distribution to the at least to the Grape community. And it's just a concept, but it's a thing we can focus on and improve along the way. Because what I'm trying to do there is give everybody a chance on something any community member on Grape has done or has participated on, has used this, has used this. So everybody has like a chance to earn something from the rest of the mint supply. So I basically just said I'll 3 topics and in a rush. So if everyone so Beat is asking about mint. I'm talking about the rest of the grape supply, the community side. So community has, if I'm not wrong, 80%. I might be wrong though. I'm gonna check for sure, but so we already minted the whole community supply, and it's holding the supply is being held in a hot wallet, and we are waiting to be transferred to the DAO treasury. Yeah, Billy, what will be the steps for to be transferred? Like, is it a security issue or like just we just need to do it? Like, we meaning people who are holding the.
No, we just need to decide which treasury we're going to send the grape to, and if all the grape is uh, community controlled or council controlled at all times. I mean, the bulk. What we were discussing earlier about whether we should have multiple treasuries or not in the DAO.
I see.
So once that's figured out, the grape should be transferred. I think it should be transferred to the DAO.
Will be easy then to transfer all this grip later on to the community members in one swoop, let's say.
Like an airdrop, you mean?
Yeah. Or will need a proposal for each one.
First, we need a proposal
Yeah, yeah, but
to say what needs to be done, and then we will execute on that.
so, but in the end, it's possible, like to let's say airdrop X amount of people, X amount of grape in just one proposal.
From realms,
Uh huh.
you could do multiple proposals. I think the maximum number of transfers is like 15 or 20. It's less than what you can normally do through a wallet. But I don't know when this proposal is going to be ready and how many
Yeah, just
contributors or If it's
hypothetical.
over 100, if it's over 100 wallets, it makes sense to do it through uh, the Grape DAO payments that we have, or if it's even more through the CLI, like to run a script.
So we should move yet to the treasure, realms treasury, I guess, till we have a definitive decision.
Yeah, yeah, we for sure. I mean, we need to have a decision on what needs to be done, and then execute and on that.
I see. Yeah, like Archimedes is saying, like if it's not more than 100 people, at least from the community side, will be 5, 6 proposals.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's probably better to show on Realms that we've decided to send to these wallets. So if there's any mistake, everybody could verify. If you do this through a hot wallet and there's a mistake, it's the person that's doing the execution has the responsibility, and mistakes do happen. So I think it's better to be done through a multi-sig.
So yeah, going back to the Grape emissions idea of airdropping to the community side, I'm gonna post a Discord link, Discourse link, the chat. So what I've just posted is just an idea of a layered approach to the how we will do it, at least on how it is possible to do it. Uh, we have different layers for each type of activity, I guess. For Discord, realms, discourse, at least something every Grape community member interacted before, and we take every type of activity and we can decide on how much reward everybody gets. So that will be an approach on how we can, give out the rest of the community supply, at least for the Grape community. So,
Yeah. Can you explain the layered approach, like the breakdown? Like, how are you thinking about it?
so first I'm thinking about like something that can be done today by one or two few people. So we have Discord, which can be done by people with permissions. At this moment will be me. We have Realms, which all activities on chain. I'm not sure how I think Archimedes can help with this. We have the discourse activity, which is can be seen by everyone. We have the Grape tools usage, so that will be with Grape access. I'm not sure. I gotta ask you, Bill or Baba, how do we track any activity with like users linking this wallet, or users linking this wallet in X community?
Yeah, yeah. We know when somebody gets a role on any community.
Okay.
So we we know all the active communities that are still using Grape. We have that information.
So yeah, that's nice as well. So we could ask you or Baba in this case if you guys are available to do at certain time. We can use also this activity. We have the Grape sub-DAO, so at some point every community, not everyone, but community members have been part of any sort of sub-DAO along the way. And for the last, we have the Grape bounty, so we can also reward users who created a bounty or just did bounties. So the main concept it is rewarding, trying to rewarding all the community members on Grape. So uh, everybody has a shot on this. So everybody has a chance. Doesn't matter if you're like, I mean, it clearly matters, but I'm trying to also reward people who are not active or like not as or can't be as active. So instead like of writing activity like or writing in a chat, but participating in a voice call, you can have other type of activity which is not seen, which is like the realms voting, realms proposals. You use Grape tools, you use Grape art as well. Grape art is actually not mentioned here, which will be a great, also a great metric to put on the layered approach. So yeah, my idea here is just trying to reward everyone who interact with Grape community at some point. Doesn't matter if you feel like, I mean, it matters, but doesn't matter if you're like a very active people, a very active user, or like a lurker. Of course, people who get deeper into Grape get rewarded the most, like creating a realms proposal. Probably you will get more Grape. Uh, Creating proposal on discourse, ideas, using Grape, X time. So let's say if, you get rewarded for using Grape, but you get more rewarded if you go deeper into Grape. That's my concept, at least at this layered approach. And yeah, we talked about this last Sunday call, but I just kind of written today the idea on Discord, so I also want to give people some time to discuss about it, maybe change it to your way, and it's basically a concept everybody's free to change, but it's something we can move on and we can use this today because everything is on chain, everything is visible and can be collected today. Any questions?
Many questions, but
That's good.
like the do you have an idea of has it been discussed in the previous doc call, like how much grape is going to be emitted?
Yeah, that was not discussed, so I have no idea how much is gonna be emitted. Because as I said before, I think we gotta reward the Grape community first, then the Solana ecosystem later. Because, for example, for the Solana ecosystem, after the Grape community is rewarded, we can use the Grape tools data as people who interacted with who linked the wallet with X community, another community. That's something. But for the that question on how much grape emitted, yeah, I have no idea. It's something we can discuss.
Well, the way I see it is for sure the DAO needs more grape um, for many reasons.
Hmm.
One, so there's more like more equal like voice from all the contributors, and two, the fact that the on Radium, in theory, there's 20 million grape available. I think my personal opinion is that I think the DAO should always have at least two times that number. So it's almost impossible for somebody to buy their way to voting. But I don't think we should like go to like an excessive number, like let's say 100 million grape or something like that, unless they're like liquidity. pools are also larger, and then it would justify having even more grape available to the DAO members. That's what I think. Just by looking at the available grape and how much actually participates in voting, um, it seems that we need more grape in realms for sure, and the way it's distributed needs to attract more people to participate. Regarding the Saga phone, going back to the previous
Mm-hmm.
proposal, um,
Sorry, real quick. I just wanted to make sure that we clarified something about this emissions proposal that Legend put forward, if that's okay.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Um, so one thing I was thinking, just for ease of execution, is to identify what the maximum amount of grape that any single individual could receive is. And then you work backwards from that, right? And you say there's a percentage you could receive for each category of activity that you've had over time, right? That way, the full allocation that exists, everybody that could receive has the potential to receive an amount at or above others, right? But there would always be enough grape to be able to distribute to a broader group of individuals that have participated over time, right? There are some people that are going to get more within the pool that they would get individually because we've set, let's say that there was 50 million, right? And you have 50 people and you say a million grape each. That's the easiest example I can give right now, just hypothetically. And you say this person has done proposals in Realms, they've done Discourse, they've done Discord, they've had a sub DAO, they've done this, they've done that, and you add um, a multiplier factor. Oh, they're a Neanderthal versus they were a gorilla for this long, or they've participated in every DAO call, or they've done bounties, right? And you keep adding on. It's almost like a scorecard, right? Where you can receive up to a certain amount, but no one would really ever be able to go beyond that unless the DAO thought they've gone above and beyond by comparison to others, right? And that way you would have a fair distribution so that there's enough to go around for everybody that had the potential to earn that grape. And you also help distribute the voting power properly. But it uses the same model that Legend's talking about. So I like Legend's model because you could do each piece individually. So you don't have to wait for the whole thing to be done, right? You just say Discord activity deserves 10% of the overall reward you deserve, right? And then you focus on how much does that turn out to? Bam, right? But you need to have that starting amount, I think, of what's the most anybody can receive in as a single user, as a single participant. If we were to align on that, this would be, I think, an easier conversation. And it helps us with planning the future to say, this is how much somebody can receive in future emissions that might follow the same model. If there's any grape left, which I think there will be. Anyway, trying to simplify it as much as possible, saying that there's a certain amount you can receive for this time period, right? This 1 year or 6 months or 9 months or however long it's been. For every month, it would have been, if it was 10 months, it could have been 100,000 grape a month, right? And so for each month, you could get up to 100,000 grape. Turns out to be a million. Done. And there, you just start factoring in the metrics, and then the discussion just becomes about what percentage does one deserve versus the other. Simplified. I love your proposal, Legend. I think it's again, we may have said this last call, but I just wanted to reiterate. This is from an execution standpoint. It seems like the easiest way for us to move forward with something that'll end up yielding results. And if we get stuck somewhere, we'll get stuck on one piece of this layered approach. It won't be, oh, we can't do all the emissions because we haven't figured out all the details, right? We just need to figure out, do we want to cap it? at a certain level so that everybody has a fair share of being able to receive enough grape in the pool that we have available. That's all. Sorry, just wanted to call that out, make that known, and I'm going to be writing it up as a response to your proposal legend a little later. But thank you for putting that together, and appreciate the feedback if anybody has it to update Legend's proposal in discourse.
Yeah, thanks, Archimedes. I will sure to write my input on your post on Discord later on.
Yeah, I agree with Archimedes. I think the two things that need to be added in the proposal is the total pool size and the maximum reward per member.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So, Billy, you wanted to say back to the phones?
Yeah, back to the phones. Back to the phones. Sorry.
Okay. Billy has FK for 2 minutes. Yeah, Archimedes, so your idea will make sense if we put a overall grape cap for each member. So imagine you have like 1 million and your cap for every member to deposit on Realm at least is 2,500,000. And if you add more grape, it needed to be locked. So
Right.
basically everybody is kept at one number, meaning everybody has the same voice, like everybody counts as one. But if you have like additional grape, it will be locked since you can't go over the cap.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but the
And
thing,
then whatever isn't distributed ends up going back into the DAO pool to be able to decide how to reward future members that will participate and do the things that we're saying are what we count for receiving rewards. So the whole point of the token is to continue motivating and incentivizing the group to gain more voting power to be able to participate. That's the simplest way I could think of it, at least. Maybe it's more complicated than that, but it's just the easiest way I could think of doing it that would save a lot of time for us to just get past that point, because that's going to become the topic. It's like, how is so and so making this much versus so and so? It's like work backwards. We don't need to. I don't think we need to have that debate at all. I think that's a really easy one. If there's 50 million and there's 50 people, you could say maximum 1 million per person, and then I could make 100,000. There's 900,000 left. It goes back to the DAO. DAO gets to do whatever it decides with that 900,000 grape, because I didn't perform enough to receive it all. Right? Someone else can receive it in the future.
if you could write it, it will be less
Yep.
confusing for me because I'm trying to understand everything at once.
Yep. Yeah. No. And I will. I
Thanks.
Thank you. I'm not sure if my audio is coming through because my
It is,
my
it is, it
Discord is
is.
acting up. Okay, good. Sorry, that's why I'm talking so much. I keep waiting to see my icon light up just to make sure it's coming through.
Another topic aside from the trip before will be the also the DAO workshop by Portshock. Forgot for a moment, but last DAO call, the last Sunday DAO call, we decided I mean, Portshock we decided we could have a DAO workshop this week, so not a week before this week. If I remember right, the poll finished on 15 February, so that will be in 3 days. So if anybody wants to participate in the workshop, it's free to do it. I'm still gonna DM being actually Portshock on the event and how we will set it up here. Most probably will be in a grape stage below where we can stream and everybody will be having access to the Excel. So yeah. The event also will be announced on the announcements channels and will be available to be added to your Google Calendar in case you forget it. That's all.
So regarding the Sagaphone, what's the progress that we had on that? Do we have like some kind of minimum requirements that the DAO has come up with?
That's the funny thing. We have a lot of minimal requirements. The thing is, a lot of criteria made by different people. So the DAO by itself didn't reach a consensus. So what I'm trying to do is put everyone's proposal on criteria, let the DAO vote on which one is more, uh, you know, reasonable, and from that one reasonable, we can change it bit by bit to match everybody. I mean, we can't really match everybody's the opinion on this, but we'll try to match almost everybody. Did I say it right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. But it sounds like we don't have a consensus on that. It's
Right now, no.
everybody has a different opinion.
Yeah, everybody's a different opinion.
Well, I personally am going to forgo my Saga potential phone. I think it's an excessive amount for a phone, and I don't need the phone personally. Um, I think this phone could be seen as like an NFT. It's like a historic moment in time where the first crypto native phone. So, if I really wanted, I would buy it as an NFT. But as a reward for a DAO member, personally, I would prefer it. The DAO uses these funds for something else.
You left me
But
speechless.
if we need to distribute these phones, maybe we need to reconsider the approach. Because if let's say we distribute all these phones tomorrow to whatever criteria we
Mhm.
come up with, will this help bring new members to Grape?
I think the word you mentioned, need. I don't think the DAO needs. I think from the default, from the start, this proposal was for rewarding community DAO members.
I'm fine with that, and
S-
there's
I'm just saying, it's my
amazing
point of view.
contributors. But if we, I mean, initially the proposal was for 50 phones. I'm pretty sure we're not going to reach that number
Yeah,
of
for sure, it's
active
way less.
contributors in the DAO. Um, but if we need to do this kind of distribution, maybe it would make sense to have like a monthly competition that everybody in Solana can compete and they can come into Grape and we give out one phone. And the very active members that deserve this recognition and reward, for sure, we should, if they want the phone, we should reward them. Um, and it shouldn't be that complicated to come up with like criteria of, which members in our community are very active. Uh, I think if the criterion is simple, we could simulate what that would look like, and then make the proposal to do the distribution, so we don't have this lingering for like months and months.
So your idea as a concept would be getting X amount of phones and then like raffle them into monthly reward system, let's say, for most.
Not exactly. I would do the best of both worlds. I would, because I see there's already like criterion on which people qualify, and very few people will qualify, and maybe somebody will come up with other criteria. In any case, whatever we decide, we should go ahead and make that proposal and execute on that. And at the same time, if the DAO wants to bring more people into Grape, we could do competitions which are open to everybody in Solana to come into Grape, contribute, participate in the DAO. And then monthly, the DAO could decide for like one phone or every 2 months if they, if these new members qualify based on the rules that we have set.
Yes, definitely interesting. The problem now is like
How,
what's the direction of this post now? Cause so the down is now to vote kind of no for rewarding certain members. I mean the members of the list. And if you want to approach your Billy, and yeah, I'm not seeing this. I don't know how to explain.
I see George has commented in the chat. You don't need to give all the phones at once. Give some of them in the beginning, and then through crew 3, or evaluate some tasks, and when a certain milestone of XP or amount of tasks is reached, you can claim a phone. It's that's an interesting idea.
I agree with that idea personally, but we should definitely come up with a proposal that's executable to at least follow through on what was initially uh, promised um, on Grape. And whoever is eligible and wants to receive the Saga phone, we should execute on that. Very good points, George.
So should we still choose a criteria or make a proposal for a criteria?
I think we should. It should be basic and it should be close to what was initially uh, promised. But if you have 200,000 grape, if you're active in the DAO calls, just if you filter that a little better, I think you could come up with a proposal that's executable, and whoever qualifies would get the phone. Now, regarding the shipping and how that works, I have no idea personally. I think this would be shipped directly from Solana.
Yeah. I think I myself I will try to come with a simple criteria for the initial proposal, and from the list, let's see who is eligible to get one. And since I mean we're not gonna commit 50, right? So let's probably
I don't know. I don't know if do we. How many Neanderthals do we have? Does that role still play
yes,
a role on this? So okay, how many Neanderthals do we have?
31.
Okay, well I'm not in the list anymore, so it's 30.
Yeah, I was thinking
Uh,
also about the phones, which will be as a reward, as you and George said, in case
oh, you're
we
saying
land.
in a that's in addition to what we've already
Yeah,
discussed. So first,
yeah,
I think
but
we
not
need
30.
to
Let's say if it's 15 to members, maybe more 5 or 10 for future
let's say
members.
it's 10 to 15, 10 to 15. Correct. Let's say it's 10 to 15 members that
Hmm.
qualify. Then we're talking potentially an additional 5 or 6 phones that we could be rewarding one phone every 2 months to
Yes.
people that come into Grape,
Hmm.
contribute, participate in DAO calls, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I mean, that's optional. We don't have to do that, but if we want to, we could follow that approach.
Yeah, it's something for
Maybe
the
for
DAO
people that don't
to.
qualify with the 200,000 Neanderthal rule that we had set, maybe those 5 to 6 phones could attract or new members or very active DAO members. You know, that the DAO could come up with new rules to make the group that participates even wider.
Yeah, I agree. So Jules saying the measurement criteria was proposed. I don't know if it passed. To go back to you, I don't. Was a lot of criteria suggested by a lot of DAO members, but was none of them has passed. None of them has reached a consensus on. There was no criteria like for all DAO members to agree on. But I think from today we think we should make a more basic one.
Yeah, well, I think you could. What you could do is you could make a few criterions, and you could have people vote on. Let's say, let's say we come up with 5, um, and the top 5 criterion, we could say that this is what we're going to look at, and we execute on that. Because now we're just stuck in the execution.
Yeah, but that was basically what I was
The
trying to do today. We have a lot of
the
criteria. I
phone,
wanted to choose one
the
of them.
current phone that's shipping is the developer unit. The production unit, it's coming out, I think March, like in a few weeks. So that's, I guess that's the unit we're going to buy. I'm assuming.
For sure, I think also that's the unit the DAO should buy. So yeah, I think by the end of today's calls, there will be a poll on all criteria, including the basic one from today, and let the DAO vote on it.
Exactly. So we this week, I think we should definitely come up with a criterion, vote on it, execute, and move on, like George mentioned above, because this has been taking a very long time for us to come to like some kind of agreement.
Yeah, there are some topics that is very hard to reach at one solution when there's multiple solutions to it.
Doesn't matter though. That's why if you try to come up with a formula and it goes in a proposal, it's going to pass or fail. So if it fails, it fails. There's not much we could do other than keep trying to make it pass. But if the DAO doesn't want to make it pass, we shouldn't waste time on things that they are not important to the DAO.
We have hit our 1 hour mark. We talked about 3 to 4 topics already on the DAO call. Uh, does anybody want to include something, say something, include a new topic? If not, we can end for today and do the rest of the talking via Discourse and on the DAO channel.
No, I'm gonna post in your proposal legend a little later. Just working on that, and metrics are coming shortly. Realized I've been doing them, but I have not been posting them. Last call, at least. So, gonna follow up with that. So keep your eyes peeled if you're interested in that stuff.
I see. So I want to thank you, our community. I want to thank you, Billy, for coming up and talking about the topics I wanted to brought up, and also Billy brought more insight into these topics. Um, by the end of today will be the poll for the criteria for the Saga phones, and along the week I will try to also get more ideas for the layered approach of the emissions with some of the Archimedes help through the discourse comments. Yeah, George is asking what's the conclusion. The conclusion for the cyclophones will be a poll regarding the criteria. Also, I will also include the basic one from the start of the thread from the last year, which is being a Neanderthal active DAO voter. Yeah, that's it for today. I hope everybody has a last of the good weekend. And I want to thank the audience for showing up as well and giving their insights on the topics we mentioned today. And yeah, that's it for today, I guess.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah, take
Enjoy
care,
the
everyone.
rest of
Have
the day.
a rest of a good day.